What if the car you're about to spend thousands on isn't actually unique? Same body, same engine, same interior, but a completely different badge and a much higher price. This isn't speculation, it's happening across the industry. In this video, we're exposing the cars and SUVs that are secretly identical, sold by different brands with wildly different price tags. From pickups to family vehicles, some of these pairs are so similar, even the software is shared. So why does one cost more? And who's really getting the better deal? Once you see this, you won't look at dealerships or brand loyalty the same way again. And if you enjoy honest, no-hype breakdowns like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and support us as we grow. Case 1. Suzuki Sways vs Toyota Corolla Touring Sports. Now let's look at a case that's even more shocking from a financial point of view. Because here there are no special broker deals, no clever importing tricks, just simple math and a brutal price difference. Suzuki Sways vs Toyota Corolla Touring Sports Hybrid 1.8. These two cars are, for all practical purposes, the same vehicle. Same Toyota hybrid system, same platform, same chassis, same interior layout, trunk space, dashboard, battery design, and driving feel. They even come from the same production ecosystem. Visually, the differences are minimal. A few styling details on the bumpers and, of course, the badge. In France, the Suzuki Sways starts at around €32,700. The Toyota Corolla Touring Sports Hybrid starts closer to €37,900. That's roughly a €5,000 gap for the exact same car. Same Toyota hybrid technology, same proven reliability, same long-term durability. And this is where a rational buyer has a moment of clarity. In this pairing, Suzuki is clearly the smarter financial choice. If you're searching for a dependable hybrid wagon for family use or long-distance driving, the Sways is extremely hard to beat on price. A common concern is servicing and warranty. In reality, it's a non-issue. Warranty coverage is comparable, and Toyota dealerships already know this technology inside and out, because it's theirs. So why does Toyota charge more? Because it can. The Corolla name is powerful, globally trusted, and many buyers are willing to pay extra for that image. But when equipment and mechanics are equal, the conclusion is obvious. Sometimes the smartest Toyota you can buy is the one with a Suzuki badge. Case 2. At first glance, the Mazda BT50 presents itself as a refined, almost upscale pickup. The styling is sharp, the grille carries that signature Mazda confidence, and it gives off the impression that you're getting something engineered from the ground up by Mazda, but that's where the illusion starts to crack. Underneath the design, this truck tells a very different story. The current BT50 is built on the exact same foundation as the Isuzu D-Max. We're talking about the same ladder frame chassis, the same 3.0-liter turbo diesel engine pushing around 190 horsepower, and the same 6-speed transmission. Even the suspension setup and braking system are carried over without major changes. Step inside, and it becomes even more obvious. The dashboard layout, control buttons, infotainment system, and overall cabin design are nearly identical to the D-Max. Mazda adds a few softer materials and swaps in their badge, but the core experience doesn't change. Now, to be fair, that's not necessarily a bad thing. The D-Max has built a strong reputation for durability and reliability worldwide. It's a proven workhorse. The real issue comes down to positioning and price. In many markets, the Isuzu D-Max comes in noticeably cheaper, while the BT50 asks for a few $1,000s more for essentially the same truck with a different look. So the question becomes simple. Are you paying for better engineering or just better styling? Because at its core, this isn't a completely different pickup. It's the same machine, just dressed for a more premium first impression. Case 3. What if the pickup you think is built by Chevrolet actually isn't? At first glance, the Chevrolet D-Max carries all the weight of an American badge: heritage, engineering, trust. But behind the logo, the reality is far less original. This truck is closely tied to the Maxus T60, a model developed by SAIC Motor. And this isn't just inspired by or based on. Underneath, they share the same structure: ladder frame chassis, independent front suspension, solid rear axle, and even a 2.0-liter turbo diesel engine producing around 163 horsepower and 375 Newton-meters of torque. Transmission options, also identical. Step inside, and the similarities become impossible to ignore. The dashboard layout, climate controls, gear selector, infotainment placement, it's all nearly a mirror image. Aside from the badge on the steering wheel and a few cosmetic tweaks, you're essentially sitting in the same cabin. Now here's where things get interesting. In markets across Latin America, the Maxus T60 typically sells for significantly less, while the Chevrolet branded version comes with a noticeable price increase, sometimes several $1,000s more, and yet both vehicles often roll off the same production lines. So what's really being sold here? Engineering or branding? And this strategy doesn't stop with pickups. Take the Chevrolet Captiva. Many buyers assume it's designed by Chevrolet from the ground up. In reality, it's a rebadged version of the Baojun 530, another product from SAIC's ecosystem. Same platform, same 1.5-liter turbo engine pushing around 147 horsepower, same CVT or automatic transmission. Even the interior, from the floating center console to the infotainment system, remains largely unchanged. The biggest difference? Price and perception. In China, the Baojun 530 is positioned as an affordable SUV, but once it wears a Chevrolet badge in other markets, the price jumps dramatically. Without adding meaningful upgrades, this isn't just badge engineering, it's a global strategy where brand recognition does the heavy lifting, and for many buyers, that logo creates the illusion of something more, when in reality, it's often the same vehicle underneath, just marketed differently. Look closer, and the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. The Chevrolet D-Max that many assume is purely American-backed shares deep roots with the Maxus T60. The Chevrolet Captiva presents itself as a global family SUV, yet underneath it traces back to the Baojun 530. The Mazda BT50 may wear a refined design, but it's fundamentally tied to the Isuzu D-Max. This isn't conspiracy, it's how the modern auto industry operates. Shared platforms, joint ventures, and rebadging strategies are now standard practice. Manufacturers collaborate, outsource, and sometimes simply repackage existing vehicles for different markets. The result? Two cars that feel worlds apart on the surface, but are nearly identical underneath. For buyers, that creates a hidden trap. Because if you're not paying attention, you're not just buying a car, you're buying a brand story. And that story can cost you thousands more for the same core product. But once you understand how these connections work, the advantage shifts. In today's market, informed buyers don't just look at the badge, they compare what's behind it. And more often than not, that's where the real value is hiding.